Now, I don't know if I've ever shared this story before on YouTube or even on my podcast, but I'm going to retell the story just to kind of give you a quick little story time about my own cheating story. When I was a teenager, I was dating this guy, and he was somebody that I actually was not really that interested in for a little bit. He wasn't somebody that I was romantically interested in, but he kept showing up. And I had noticed that I would be dating other people or seeing other people, and I was kind of having my fun in high school. I was not your goody two-shoe type of girl. I was outside, y'all. I know. I was a bad kid. Where I grew up, that was like very common. People were going out, people were partying, people were drinking, people were having a good time. There was a lot of bonfires where I lived. That being said, I would go out quite a bit. And this particular person was not in the mix because he was not in high school anymore. I would get silly with my friends, and I would call him and he would come pick us up. And what I really enjoyed about him was he was very responsible. He was very kind. And he just always would extend help to me, which I never understood. I'm not used to dealing with somebody who wants to help me for no reason. He wasn't asking me for sex. He wasn't trying to hook up with me. He was just there. But whatever. I hung out with him a few times. He was cool. I realized that he kind of came from a really good family, kind of an established, affluent family. And we were hanging out more and more. And then I remember one day it clicked that I think I had romantic feelings for him. And we ended up dating. Fast forward, we're having issues here and there. He cheated on me in a very egregious way. And I wouldn't even say he cheated on me in an egregious way. We broke up in a very blindsiding, hurtful way. We were out to dinner. And I remember he was on his phone quite a bit while we were waiting to be sat. Guys, when I tell you that even telling this story to you guys right now, it flows off the tongue. And the reason I'm saying that is because I'm trying to get to the point that cheating really does alter your brain chemistry and changes you for the rest of your life, because you remember things about your relationship, the infidelity, how you felt. It brings up an emotion in you years and years later. I mean, this was over 10 years ago at this point, guys. I'm almost 30. So yeah, this was over 10 years ago. And this is still something that is very fresh in my mind. And we were out to dinner and he was on his phone. And I remember I was really annoyed by it. I don't know why, but I feel like it was just, he wasn't locked in on what we had going on. And I said, hey, if you take out your phone one more time and do what you're doing, I want to leave. And he was kind of being combative with me and nasty with me, which I thought was really weird. I didn't like it. He went on his phone again and I was like, let's leave. And he walked out the restaurant. And I was really surprised by that because I was very used to this person always trying to make things right with me. So this evening was very different. I suspected nothing other than he has an attitude problem. So I'm like, just take me home. I'm not interested in dealing with you tonight. And he drove me home. Now, what had happened after this is the craziest part, guys. We never spoke again. Now, we were dating for almost 2 years. And he drove me home and we never spoke again on the sense of being in a relationship. That was our breakup. And it was extremely blindsiding. And I remember I was in my bed that night and he had blocked me on social media and he blocked my number. And I was like, what the hell? And then I got a phone call from my friend at work, and I worked at a restaurant at the time. And she called me the next day, and I had called out of work because I was so distraught. I didn't feel good. And he knew my schedule because I only worked 2 days a week at this restaurant. Tell me why I got a phone call from my friend at work saying that he was on a date with a girl. This was extremely shocking to me. This was somebody that I have never in my life suspected would even look at another woman. From our dinner out while we were still together, and it was at the restaurant that I worked at, this felt very intentional and very disgusting. And I was so put off by it. I'm like, wait. Not only are you low-key kind of cheating on me because we just broke up, which means how did you get on a date this quickly unless this is a woman that you've already been talking to? You go out the day after to my restaurant, so you're trying to flaunt it in my face because you thought I was going to be there. That is sick. So this was already messing with me. Now, keep in mind, I'm a teenage girl going through all the emotions, not sure what's going on in life, still figuring things out. And this is someone that I would have betted would have been loyal to the end of time. Stupid. But it happens when you're young. You truthfully did not see a lot of these things coming. I show up to the place in my Juicy Couture sweatsuit, got in my car, furious. I walk up to the table. I scream at the both of them. He's extremely nonchalant, zero emotion, and was like, Hailey, relax. She's just my coworker. And meanwhile, they're splitting sushi. And she's like, oh my God. Like she was like being like so like docile and stupid. And I wanted to like knock her out. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I put my whole like life into this man just for him to be on a date less than 24 hours later, not giving a fuck. Guys, when I tell you this entire situation altered my brain chemistry, I was so depressed. And when I think back to what caused the depression, it wasn't necessarily like the cheating, but it was the deceit. It was being blindsided, and it was even like the questioning of my own self-trust. What is extremely scary is when you are dating someone and you've spent an extended amount of time with them. Because it's one thing if you're seeing somebody once a week or twice a week and you're not really gauging their personality, their lifestyle, who they are. But listen, I spent a lot of time with my friends and my boyfriend when I was in high school. I would hang out with him every day. He would like pick me up after school. We would hang out. We would do things. I would spend a lot of time at his house. And I would say it was honestly borderline unhealthy. As an adult now, when I reflect back on a lot of my relationships, one of the things that I would absolutely change had I redid it was giving myself more autonomy and independence. I do find that even in adulthood, I will meet women who go from being single to being in a relationship, and within a few months, they are spending almost every day or every other day with that person. And I personally just don't think that that's healthy because it makes it really hard to stick to your routine. Now, that's my own personal perspective. I just find that it's really hard to sustain a healthy, independent routine where you are nurturing yourself and pouring into your own cup when you're spending every single day with your partner.
Pioneer.